Hey, I'm Dave King from Flogging Molly, and watch me on Moshcam. Today was I have to say today was definitely, because we were like, we've 7 people in our band, and we all feed off each other, and the rest of the guys that didn't have any instruments, like our banjo player, mandolin player, bass player, drummer, were like, just do it, and we were like, well, Jesus, it's like, it's gonna be weird, And it's one thing if it's a club, but you're playing the Olympic Stadium in Sydney, and it was very daunting, but it turned out to be a wonderful experience. It's a tough one because we've had many crazy occasions on tour. The most crazy thing is that, we play music just for the love of it, and one of the main reasons why we started writing the way we do and do what we do is because I was stuck in America and I couldn't go back home. And I met Bridget, and she played fiddle, and we started playing music the next day, and then we all just came together, and we all just started playing this music, and we had no idea where it was going to go. So I think from the very first night was the craziest night. It's continued, ever since till today, I'd probably Bridget. That's my wife. She's very stoic on stage and very, but she's a lunatic. Well, I think we were doing Coachella, and we were on one of the stages here, and the next stage was here, and I had to introduce Prince, which was really funny. It was like, and now, ladies and gentlemen, Prince. It's like, when you get a band together in a pub in Los Angeles, you never think in a million years that you'd ever say something like that. And things like that are amazing, I mean, meeting people and, playing with people that you've admired and respected over the years, and actually playing with them, and it's like things like today, Metallica and people like that, it's even though we're from completely different worlds, it's amazing, It happens all the time. I remember Nathan breaking his hand. I happened to play bass guitar. Bridget broke her foot, and the very day that she broke her foot, we're playing a stage that's concrete. But we were playing in a stadium. The Columbus Crew, they're a soccer team in the MLS in America. We were playing their stadium that night after one of their games, and all the physios that day were all taking care of a foot and doing all that. Broken hands, broken feet. My voice sometimes, you get sick, and once you get sick, you're done, vocally, and that can be a nightmare, But we've only ever cancelled one show, so. One in particular was on the Warped Tour in America, and we did our show, and we're walking back to the bus, and on our way back to the bus, this girl came up to us, and she had what I thought was a bodice, like what you call them, a girdle, or from the Victorian times, and she said, "Oh, I really loved your show," and I said, "Oh, great," and she was like, "I broke my back," and I was like, Jesus Christ, I said, "What are you doing here?" And she goes, "Oh, I broke my back months ago at one of your shows." And I said, "What?" Me and Bridget were like, "What? You're still And she was in the Warped Tour. It's she was in the crowd in the Warped, and she just had broken her back previous to that. But then you get on the opposite, madness of that, you get beautiful stories of whether they be soldiers or police men and women that have been taken down in action, and they play one of our songs at their funerals, and the whole family will write to us, and it's things like that. It's also that's the most incredible experience you could have, to write songs and have people that it means so much to them. That's Well, what's lovely with us is we're a family band, and what sometimes is nice is to see a seven-year-old next to a 70-year-old. You know, I mean, not many bands, I mean, and like, I remember like last year, we headlined a punk rock festival in Blackpool in England. The next day, we headlined a folk festival, playing with the Chieftains, Moving Hearts, Richard Thompson, all these traditional acoustic artists. We headlined that, and then the next day we played the Motorhead. I mean, I don't know how many other bands that could do that. Oh, one time we were on our first ever tour of America. We were on tour with the Boss Towns, the Mighty Mighty Boss Towns, and you know, you don't have a hotel, you know, and you meet up with people, and we met these bunch of people, and they invited us back to their house to stay in, and me and Bridget decided, well, we'd sleep in the back of the van. So we woke up in the back of the van, right? I don't know what time it was in the morning, but I woke up and I was bursting for a pee. And I got out of the van and I turned around and I see a postbox. And I pull down my fly, I'm having a pee, and there's a guy reading a newspaper in the front, right, in his house. I'm peeing, right, and go back into the van. And next of all, on the back of the van, it's the cops. So they get out. What you doing? I said, we're just sleeping in the van. We just played with the Mighty Mighty Boss Towns. He said, the Mighty Mighty Gallstones? I said, no, the Mighty Mighty Boss Towns. He says, what are you doing peeing on people's lawns? I said, I didn't even know. I was, you know, I was tired and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So that was a weird wake-up call. Weather, yes, we done the Warped Tour where a lightning storm hit, and the remaining bands like us and No Effects, Bad Religion, were meant to be playing, but it was shut down. So we all got together. I did an acoustic set on stage, but there was no mics at all. I mean, it was just all shouting and screaming, and that was a great occasion. And we've had, you know, experiences like where, like for example, in America, they have Irish festivals, and they invite us along to play, and they don't really realize what they're getting into, and they'll have like literally like a barrier that blocks off a car or something, and we start playing, and all hell breaks loose, and we have to stop because somebody's going to get hurt, you know. There's that type of thing too. Oh Jesus, mostly good. I mean, there was one time we were playing in Columbus, and the cops are standing on stage, waiting to arrest me when I left stage, and didn't pan out. But yeah, but usually with the cops we have a good relationship. You know, like Bridget's dad was an ex-cop, and for some reason, like, you know, the songs that we write, people who are on frontline danger, who are protecting communities, and, you know, in situations where they don't want to be, like Afghanistan, Pakistan, or wherever, Iraq. So for some reason, our songs mean a lot to them, and we've almost have a community between the police, the army, navy, you know, people who don't know if the next guy's going to come or whatever. I mean, and that's incredible to me. I mean, it's something very special. And